Welcome to the Avalanche Fundamentals video series. My name is Shannon Regan. I'm the education coordinator for the Friends of the Gallatin National Forest Avalanche Center. Friends of GNFAC's goal is to save lives by providing avalanche education and information. This video will give you an overview of the Avalanche Fundamentals video course. And so we want to start with, what is Avalanche Fundamentals? This is an avalanche awareness course taught by the Friends of GNFAC. There are lectures on this YouTube playlist, and there's no registration required for just the playlist. This is free and available to the public on YouTube. We do teach field days that are designed to go with this pre-course content. And so if you're interested in taking a field day, head over to mtavalanche's.com's education calendar, because registration is required for those. So what is an avalanche awareness course? So on this chart put together by the American Avalanche Association, who sets guidelines for avalanche courses in the United States, avalanche awareness courses are the entry point to avalanche education, regardless of whether you're seeking purely recreational training or professional training. Everyone's got to start with awareness. So this course is not going to be comprehensive. It's not going to tell you every single thing you need to know about winter backcountry safety or avalanches, but it's going to be a great starting point or a great refresher point. This is what this course is going to cover. In our video series, we're going to walk you through identifying avalanche terrain, understanding weather and snowpack factors that contribute to avalanches, having the basics of how to perform an avalanche rescue, and the basics of avalanche risk management. So this pre-course content is designed to set you up well for a field day with us. Our single field day awareness courses for this Avalanche Fundamentals class are split into two categories. We have courses for motorized users, and these are for people who are primarily accessing the backcountry with snowmobiles and snow bikes. So if that sounds like a good fit for you, a motorized course is the place to be. If you use snowmobiles, for example, to access skiing, a better fit for you is going to be our non-motorized field course. This is going to be for people who are on skis and snowboards. You do not need touring equipment, so split boards or alpine touring gear for this course. Depending on the location, we teach these based out of parking lots. We teach them based out of Bridger Bowl and outside of Bozeman. And so you can take these courses if you're a boot packer or if you're on touring gear. So if you have questions about the field days, you should go to mtavalanche.com and click on the education tab. And that's going to give you information like the required equipment and ability level to participate in these courses. So that's going to be a great resource for you if you're looking for more information about this course. And you can check out the dates we have available. All right, so that's the basics of this course. Now we're going to dive into a bit of the context for the rest of the course. Okay, so why avalanche education? I think that's an important place to start. 90% of fatal avalanches are triggered by the victim or someone in their party, which means that avalanches aren't just a fluke act of nature. So they are a natural hazard, which is what we're going to talk about more. But our involvement in avalanches is because of our own actions. So why are you here? Probably because you ski or snowboard or snowmobile or snow bike, or like going hiking in the mountains, or like ice climbing, alpine climbing. There's a variety of reasons that people like to go into the mountains. Each person has their own reasons. I personally like to go backcountry skiing and riding to challenge myself. And part of the big picture of recreating in the backcountry is acknowledging that we take risks to accomplish our goals and have a good time. So when we think about the bigger picture, we don't want it to be lost on you that avalanche risk is a byproduct of a natural hazard and your exposure to that hazard. So we're choosing to expose ourselves to avalanche hazard to go skiing or snowmobiling or snowboarding or alpine or ice climbing. And so that's kind of the foundation for this whole course, is understanding that avalanche education is effective because we can make different decisions about our exposure to avalanche hazard and vulnerability. And what that really means is how susceptible to the harm or impacts of an avalanche we would be. So that's kind of the basic equation for avalanche risk. This chart here is from avalanche.org's Avalanche Encyclopedia, which there'll be a link popping up here on the screen for you to check out. This is a great resource, and we're going to be using these terms repeatedly throughout the video series, so it's a really good foundation to understand. All right, so where we need to start. We need to start by understanding more about avalanches. So in the most simple definition, an avalanche is snow moving down a slope. This video shows a remotely triggered slab avalanche by a snowmobiler. No one was caught or injured in this avalanche, but it is a great example of what a slab avalanche looks like on a smaller slope. So what's important for us to understand is that there are different types of avalanches. And to understand what avalanches are and why they're dangerous, we need to understand something about the physical properties of these different avalanches and the mechanisms. So like what I mean by that is how these avalanches happen, why there's snow moving down the mountain, because we just acknowledged that avalanches are snow moving down a mountain. And the follow-up question is, well, why is that snow moving down the mountain? So we're going to cover this topic way more in depth in the snowpack video. But the really important takeaway right now is to understand the different basic types of avalanches and why, for example, the slab avalanches are particularly dangerous for us as skiers and riders. So I have a couple photos and video examples of different avalanche types. So we have our loose avalanches, and loose avalanches are snow that's not cohesive with the snow beneath it. So even more simply, it's snow that's on a steep incline that can't hold itself there anymore. And this video, the next video, is showing a dry, loose avalanche. So this is basically just snow dribbling down the hill. The snow that's falling in this storm can't hold itself on top of the snow that's below it, and it's just sliding down the mountain. And when we have that with dry snow, it's a dry loose avalanche. When we have that with wet snow, it's called a wet loose avalanche. So the next set of avalanches is going to be our slab avalanches. So wet slab avalanches are not as common as our dry version, which I'll show you in the next video. But a wet slab is cohesive snow that is then, it has liquid water moving through the snowpack. And that liquid water is what's causing the avalanche to release. So when we have a dry slab avalanche, we basically have cohesive snow that's releasing down the slope. So, and by cohesive, I mean snow that wants to stick to itself, like that snowball making snow, versus the video a few back of the dry loose, where that snow wasn't really sticking to itself. So these dry slab avalanches, the snow is forming a slab, so cohesive snow layer. And that layer is what's breaking and sliding down the hill. So in this recipe for a slab avalanche from this video, we need to have a couple ingredients. So in addition to the structure of the snowpack, where we have cohesive snow on top of weaker snow, or snow that doesn't want to stick to the snow around it, we also need to have a steep enough slope, and we need to have some kind of trigger. And what I mean by the trigger is we can have slab or layered snowpack, slab over weak layer, on a variety of slopes, but we're not seeing avalanches on every one of those slopes, even if they're steeper slopes. And we're going to learn more about slope steepness and avalanche paths and avalanche terrain in the terrain videos. But the really crucial component here is we need some type of trigger. So what I mean by that is we need the additional weight of more snowfall or more wind pushing snow onto a slope to overload that slope, causing the slab to fail on the weak layer. Other triggers can be like this video. I'll just play it again. This video just showing somebody walking adjacent to the slope. They're causing the slab to collapse onto the weak layer. And then that collapse is going across the slope, causing the slope to fail in avalanche. So just because we have a layered snowpack on steep enough slopes doesn't necessarily mean we have avalanches. There needs to be some type of additional trigger or weight or load. Those are all words we're going to use to describe this. So these are really important, like foundational terms and knowledge that will carry into the other videos of the series. In the rest of the series, we're going to talk about how to identify avalanche terrain. We're going to talk about those weather and snowpack factors that contribute to avalanches. And we're going to give you a lot of resources to continue your learning. We really like teaching about this stuff, but we're trying to keep these videos short and to the point and give you just the information you need. So we just learned a little bit about the hazard component of our risk equation. Now we want to acknowledge that the avalanche risk itself doesn't happen without us. So that includes us exposing ourselves to places where avalanches happen, and then the fact that as humans, we're pretty susceptible to the impacts of a force like an avalanche. So I have this video. This video was sent into the Avalanche Center a couple years ago. This is up in the Flanders mountain area in Highlight outside of Bozeman. And you'll see that an avalanche is just about to fail. This person skied a slope and then triggered an avalanche towards the bottom of the slope. So this is a classic slab avalanche video. Some characteristics of slab avalanches that make them so dangerous is they can break above you on a slope, like it did in this video, and they can break wide across the slope. So this whole bowl avalanched, and they can entrain a lot of debris and get moving really fast. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit and show you what this slope looks like from the bottom, just to give you a better picture. So here's the same avalanche from a different perspective. What's really dangerous about slab avalanches and why the majority of accidents involve dry slab avalanches is because of the characteristics of how these avalanches break and how much force they can create. What's harming people and killing people in avalanches is going to be a combination of traumatic injuries and then the potential for getting fully buried. We're going to talk more about that in the rescue video, and we'll have more stats and information about, what's causing fatalities in avalanches. So in the United States, on average, there's 27 fatalities a year. So this picture is of a fatal avalanche from West Yellowstone. The crown of this avalanche was only 4 to 10 inches deep. So it does not take a very big avalanche to produce a bad outcome. And in this course, we want to acknowledge that avalanches are really sad events for the community and for people who are involved in them, and that they're going to be equal opportunity killers. In the risk management videos and rescue videos, we're going to break down the tools that you need to go recreate in the backcountry to help protect yourself from some of the negative consequences of avalanches. But this video as a whole, what we're really trying to do is provide you with avalanche information and give you tools to responsibly enjoy the backcountry, because that's why we're all here. So the rest of the series, we're going to learn about these risk management processes that the pros use. And that's going to be using resources like avalanche forecasts, being prepared, knowing how to perform a rescue, reducing your exposure to avalanche terrain by recognizing avalanche terrain and having good travel habits, and then using evidence and resources to make your decisions. So that's kind of what the scope of this whole series is going to look like. And then it's intended to be, you watch the videos and then you show up to a field day, you get to ask a lot of questions and you get to practice the tools we're giving you. So that's kind of what this course ends up looking like. We hope you tune in to the rest of the series and you check out mtavalanche.com to sign up for the advisory or sign up for one of our field days if you haven't already. Thank you.